Well, this is a task that was just given to me, so I hope I'll do a good job. What's your name? Sorry, my name is Yang. So according to the agenda, this is an interview of how robots could be used in packaging industry. I'm from Jiangnan University, the packaging department of Jiangnan Industry, where we are also carrying out researches on the automation of packaging. As you may know, robots have been used in packaging industry since a long time. I remember an estimate that saying that robots is mostly used in automobile industry, and secondly in packaging industry. I was surprised to learn that robots automation is so widely used in packaging industry. But if you look into the packaging process of many fast-consuming products, you see a lot of automated processes. And the application of robots or automated technology is going to be further promoted and is going to be encouraged by the Chinese government. So robot will play an increasingly important role in manufacturing process. I have to say this is a task that was just given to me a few minutes ago. So I'm not well prepared. Mr. Yang, can you share with us what is the current situation? Well, actually, I've come with a video clip of how robots are used in packaging industry.
切一下吧。那个这样，就说首先呢，先让他们准备。我们先说一下，其实，在我们机器人这边的。
So while they are trying to get over the technical barriers, let me share with you. In packaging industry, robots are used to sort out, fill in the boxes, and stack the boxes. In food and beverage industry, actually the application of robots goes further beyond packaging process. We are talking with some international players as how robots or automation could be applied in some conventional areas. For instance, logistics. In logistics, people used to use manual power to transport, but now we are shifting to robots. Now, I hope they figured out. This is how robots are used in packaging. Bottles are paralyzed by robotic arms. Things might be different in Western countries where bottles are smaller, but here in China sometimes the bottles are bigger. And this is how robots are used to pick sausages. Crates are packed by robotic arms. So this could be used in the delivery of fresh and frozen products. This has already been widely used in Western countries and is fast in developing in China. Crates are being transported by robots. So these are all very sophisticated application of robots, automation technology. So this is widely applied in the chemical industry, pharmaceutical industry, as well as food industry. This is a electronics manufacturer. They use the robots to fill in their boxes. Now, of course, CDs are dying out, giving way to smartphones. So that was all the areas that robots have been used. In food and beverage, robots are mostly used in for bottles, feed, flour, those heavy mechanics that prove to be difficult for human beings. So in those production lines, robotic arms are frequently used. Well, looking to the future, as you may see in other sessions, people are talking about how those wet markets may disappear. Instead, people can order online the groceries and that are going to be delivered to their homes. So those are the future trends that might shed light on the development of future robotics. Well, ABB is a renowned industry leader in industrial robots. So this is a very good opportunity, learning opportunity for all of us. As you have seen in this video clip, robots are used to pick or select, to transfer, or after the packaging is made, to fill in the crates or to paralyze. So these are all the processes in which robots are used. Do you think in the future robots is going to be applied in the real sense of packing? What do you mean? What do you mean by real sense of packing? For instance, the packing or packaging of traditional food is very difficult. For instance, 粽子 or rice dumpling wrapped in leaves. This is a traditional food for China's Lantern Festival. But the packaging of this 粽子 is very difficult. You know, you need to wrap cooked rice in leaves. I suppose maybe in the future, do you think robots can be used to wrap 粽子 and food like that? Well, actually, you are not the first one to think of this question. However, to realize that, I think more research is going to be needed. The robots manufacturers that I know are all in the industrial sector. So this would require some tailored development. I believe with some effort and research, this is achievable. However, I think the problem is that for food, you know, the producing capacity is really big, but the robots, they work for each single step of the gesture. They are slower than human beings because robots operate as a whole set of parts. So if you want to realize manufacturing with robots, I don't think that would be very fast. I mean, robots can be used in certain chains, in certain steps of manufacturing, where the volume is huge or the weight is heavy, in which human beings do not have advantage. However, if it's in some, you know, labor-intensive chains that human beings actually would outpace robots in terms of speed, then I think human beings is a better choice. ABB has a robot called Yumi. It can fold paper planes, it can pour coffee. I believe if with certain inputs, it can also wrap up 粽子 or traditional food. However, there is this question of efficiency and cost. Yeah, I believe the major problem is efficiency. I don't think it can do the job as quickly as a human hand. I'm not saying that it's totally impossible. For instance, in certain shows, we have seen robot ramen. Well, I think they are very good attempts. They are very valid tries. However, I don't think that can be commercialized in the near future. Well, the application of robots is very sophisticated in the automotive industry. For the packaging industry, do you think the application of what's the difference of robots in packaging industry? Any features, any differences? Food and beverage industry has certain unique requirements. I remember that in one of the agenda items, that is low cost, because food and beverage industry requires lower cost, given that they have a thinner margin. So you need to control the cost really well. I've been with the ABB for a long time. So when I first arrived, I promoted the use of robots to our clients. At first, I met many refusals because of the consideration or concerns of cost.
Of course, this grows with society develops, and then we understand that it's not just because of the increase of labor cost. It's more about that the new generation, they don't want to do this labor manual work. They are not inclined to do these jobs. So when we talk to these companies, they do not just consider the cost. So low cost, of course, you have different aspects. So in terms of equipment cost, it's not low, but in terms of operation cost, it's low. For example, if you cannot recruit people and your production is impacted, especially for food companies, if you cannot operate at full capacity, that's your loss. So in terms of cost, one biggest thing is to keep its full operation, and also for automobile manufacturer, they have high added value and they have big volume. They replace all these procedures with robots, but for food industry, like you mentioned that it's cost sensitive, and then it has very high requirement for food safety. So I know there's one company, they export products to the US, and maybe if there's say a metal thread is discovered in its product, then they may not be able to export any food in the future. So that's why it has high requirements. So some of the robots would meet the standards of food producer, and also for some food producers, they may not have large volume for one SKU. For food industry, we have some large producers, but mostly they are small and medium-sized companies. So they do not have very high production speed. So they also want to have low cost. But to realize that, we have more flexible robots it can use to pack it, etc. You know, every company has its advantage and disadvantage. there are a lot of beer companies as well. They do not use a lot of robots, because the capacity cannot be met by robots. So the old robots are still being used. So beer companies are now using the robot for the stacking. They use it for the raw material. Another one thing that I'm so interested, so the Chinese government is trying to promote smart factory. So it has become a new sort of industry. Many food companies or the packaging companies are trying to develop robots. So we discovered that it's interesting, like the main machine come from ABB. But then the program is designed by its own company. They did their own development. So what's your view on that? I think I think that the challenges now we have, robot factories will only supply the core thing, and then for the program you need to have the secondary development. So if it's only developed by the equipment manufacturer, we don't have enough talent. So we can provide some standard modules, but they have different requirements, say the size of different crates, and also we need to have more consideration of its stacking machine and compatibility with other equipment. So these all need secondary development. So from ABB's point of view, what we can do is to give you the first support for free. Later on, then we will charge you for that. The reason why we charge is because it's not that we want to make money out of it. We want our client to learn how to use it. At the beginning, we may be able to help you. Now we have so many clients to serve. We will not be able to serve you. There are so many factories that are producing at the same time. So the robots technology, the challenge is mainly on people. So the ones who can control and maintain the robots, we have higher requirements for them, and this goes to the topic that we talk about, that is the education about the technicians. They are not developing robots, but they need to know how to use robots. So we have been working with many schools on that, so that the schools will be able to have talent in the area. So by 2025, the state has already its own target. So we were thinking about its popularization of robots. Now, in the future, what are the trends for robots in the packaging industry? In terms of packaging, for example, selecting and then stacking and putting in a box. These are the processes that might be needing robots, and there are more technology developed, and now it goes to the selecting and picking process. So that means that robots will join the procedures of production. So that's a very big challenge. So clients say that you need to be participating in our production process, but the producer of robots saying that we are not familiar with your production process. So now we need more and more understanding of that. And also it has to do with the properties of the food itself, like the efficiency and velocity needs to be considered. Another thing is that how to forecast the trend. We talk about in industry robots, but in terms of restaurant business, but this is also food industry. They have needs too. It's not like industry robots. It also belongs to the robot family. So in some areas you will see the robots usage. For example, like restaurant. So that's something that we would envisage. Because, in a restaurant, we want to have a good experience. So you will see lots of reports, and some of the big companies do have stringent procedures, but the workers may not follow the procedures. Now, in some franchised companies, they would use robot to standardize its procedures. So automation in these areas, that's a very important factor, not only to increase the volume, but also to make sure that the safety is protected. Okay, so in the interest of time, we are closing this session, but it was a very nice talk with Mr. Yang. We believe with the advancement of technology and with the support of government, this would be more and more widely used. And we also wish ABF brings